Yo, what's going on, fam? David Early here, David Early Photography, back at it again with another video. In this video, I'm gonna break down my last fitness photo shoot. I had a friend who reached out who needed some branding style of photography done for his fitness company. So I went ahead, I put some ideas together. So I wanna break down this video and show you how I progressed through the photo shoot, how I progressed through the lighting, and how I was able to achieve that branding style of photography. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's me. Just being goofy. I like to just have fun on the photo shoots. So this is the first sequence of photos. I already had got the shot that I wanted, but I wanted to make sure that I had, extras. So I just had the athlete jumping, like he was running. I wanted to get him in the air because, I wanted to have some flair to it. So I want to get him in the air, and I wanted to show action and show the trainer encouraging him on. So that's what I did. So the lighting setup for pretty much all these photos is basically split. So I have a split of lighting. So it's a strip box. I have two strip boxes, and what I do is I put the subject in between the two strip boxes. I don't shoot from the front, like I don't put lighting in front of the person because that's gonna flatten out the image. In fitness photography, you want to have those shadows and those highlights, and you want to help create depth with the lighting. So with the two strip boxes, one of them had a grid on it and one of them was regular. And what the grid does is the grid will break up the lighting, right? The grid will break up the lighting, so you do have that desired effect of shadows and highlights, especially when it comes to showing off muscle. You want to have that. So in this photo, I just had them doing some renegade push-ups, but I do not like this setup at all. I didn't necessarily see that panel on the left hand side that's attached to the tower. That's something that you kind of have to be aware of, but just being in the moment, I didn't realize it until afterwards. And I didn't necessarily like that setup. I don't like the idea of the man bending over and then there was another guy behind him. That just didn't go with what I was trying to create. So, as I'm progressing through this sequence, I'm adjusting the lighting pretty much just based off of what I see on the back of the camera. I'm adjusting the lighting. And so what happens on like a photo shoot is, I'll have the subject stand in place, and then I'll take a couple shots, and if I need to adjust the lighting, I will. And then once I feel like, I'm getting the desired lighting that I want, I'll go ahead and I'll start directing the photos. So right there, I just brought in a third light, which is a beauty dish with a sock on it that helps diffuse the intensity of the light. And I just wanted to add a little bit more lighting to the photo. It's something that you have to tweak, you have to play with. So I was like, okay, I'll use this light. But the thing about it is that beauty dish, it didn't have like a remote control, so it was being used in slave mode. So my lights have to flash in order for that one to flash. There's no way I can manually do it. It's just going to be doing it automatic. So I like the lighting. I like what I see. I go in for the shot. I have a 50 millimeter lens on that camera right there because I'm getting close up to his face. And that 50 millimeter, is going to automatically create a shallow depth of field. So the person in the back is going to be out of focus, and the focus is going to be on the man in the foreground. And just one thing I noticed as I'm watching this video is, the talent, just they got up and they switched the kettlebell. So the kettlebell went from, a dark green to a brighter color, which is yellow. And, you know, that's something that you have to be aware of, because that can make or break your photo. You know, me having a background in videography, that's a continuity error for me. And then you'll see how it changes the photo, because your eyes are naturally drawn to brightness and light. So now, like, what I see is like my eye automatically goes to the back of the photo because he's holding something yellow and bright. But either way, I just continue to go. Boom, there it is. I like what I'm seeing. I went ahead and I backed up so I can get him in the entire frame. Before, it was just from his biceps up, but now I was able to get the dumbbells in the photo as well. And yeah, I liked what I saw there. And I usually don't move on from a shot until I get what I want. And, you know, good thing we had time, because like on a professional photo shoot, you have to be able to work very fast, and you don't really have time to, you know, do too many adjustments. You have to know your stuff and go fast. And here I am just sharing the photos I got with the client. All right, so we're moving on to the next sequence, the next shot. You know, I wanted to get the trainer demonstrating an exercise to the people. And, you know, right now I'm testing out the lighting. You know, I'm testing out the lighting, making sure everything looks good. You usually don't have to adjust the lighting, especially when you're in the same spot. You don't have to really adjust it unless, you know, something changes drastically. So what I did was I turned off this light that's in front right now. And this is us, we're just fooling around. We're teasing him because he couldn't really do the exercise. So like, we're teasing him. And, you know, I was able to capture that. It's always good to have fun on the photo shoot. It creates, you know, a kind of light environment. You don't want it to necessarily be work. You want it to be fun. You want it to be play. So we're having fun. And, you know, we're trying to figure out how to get this shot, because he's not used to squatting with his hands above his head. So, you know, I'm open to suggestions. The client said, hey, you know, why don't I just get the dumbbell and I'll do a goblet squat. So I was like, all right, yeah, do a goblet squat. And, you know, the lighting's already set up. I have a good distance. He does the squat and I progress from there. I tell one of the talents, like, hey, come in closer so you can be in the shot he's supposed to be showing you. And, you know, it'll kind of look weird with him standing there. I told him to take a knee, told him to put his hand on his chin like he's learning. So you have to create the mood as you're progressing through the photo. And again, that yellow kettlebell is misplaced. That's something that you have to be aware of when you're doing your shoots, is, you know, what's in the foreground, what's in the background. You know, the talent doesn't necessarily know, like, hey, you know, this might affect the shot. So as a photographer or as a director, you have to direct them and tell them, like, hey, you know, this isn't what I want. So either way, we're moving on to a bicep curl. Another talent shows up and I want him to get in here right away because, you know, he doesn't have a lot of time. So yeah, we're shooting. I'm shooting vertically. I'm shooting portrait style photos, landscape style photos. You know, the lighting looks good. And now it's mostly about just creating the mood and directing the people that are in the photo to get exactly what it is that you're going for. So again, I have two strip boxes. One's on the right, far right there. It doesn't have anything on it, no modifiers on it. It's just a strip box. I think they're 24 inches. And then the key light on the left has a grid on it. Again, it's another strip box, but it has a grid on it. And again, I'm just progressing through the shoot. I have to tell him not to bring the weight up too high because it's gonna block his face. And the lighting looks great to me. As you can see, it's coming in as a key light, the fill light. You can see the light on the back of the trainer's head. And you know, once I get the shot, if I don't have to change anything, we continue to progress. And I try to get a good amount of shots of all the talent that's involved, just so you have more options. Options are a beautiful thing. And you know, as a camera person, as a photographer or a director or whatever, can't be afraid to get on the ground. Can't be afraid to be daring and in order to get the shot. Okay, so in this sequence right here, I wanted the talent to do, you know, like a dumbbell press, but it just wasn't coming out the way that I thought it would. Everything was just off. The angle was off. It didn't look good. I wasn't able to get a really good framing. You know, the blocking was off. And this is why I'm not showing the photos popping up on the left or on the right. It just didn't go well. That set of photos right there, and that happens. But you can't let that get you down. You kind of have to work your way through that. So, you know, I take the photo. I'm trying to make adjustments. I'm telling him like, hey, you know, move back. And then I take another shot. I want to see what it looks like. The lighting is good, but it's just not what I'm going for, like aesthetically in the photo. But, you know, I'm not, you know, gonna give up. I'm just gonna make minor tweaks and minor adjustments. So what I do now is like, okay, the 50 millimeter is really not doing it for me. So I go ahead and I grab the 70 to 200 millimeter. And what that's going to do, because it's like a telephoto lens, what that's going to do is it's going to blur out the background even more. But at the same time, I have a greater distance. So instead of 50 millimeters, I have 70 to 200 millimeters. And I can back up and I can get really close in for detail while still keeping the subject in focus and the background out of focus. So that's why I'm not in the photo right now. I have a longer lens. But again, this just wasn't cutting it. This wasn't doing it. Didn't like it, not one bit. So, you know, we go ahead and we change the shot. We go ahead and we change the shot. I'm trying to have my friend, you know, move the bench in the right spot, but you know, he doesn't see what I'm seeing, so I can't really direct him. I have to move it, and for me, it has to be a certain way. It has to be like square. So the lighting, the back lighting is hitting him from a certain angle, and then the front lighting is hitting him from a certain angle, and that way, you know, I can get the shot that's in my head. That's the hardest thing, getting what you see in your mind, but capturing it in the camera. That's the hardest part, but it takes practice. That's all it is practice, practice, practice. So we're setting up the next shot right here. See, I'm getting set up for just him doing a curl with the dumbbell. Again, just want to show action, and just that angle just looks a lot better right there. It looks a lot better. Still not how I want it to be, but I do get a few good shots in this sequence. And yeah, it looks, you got to progress from there. You got to progress from there. The things that you want, get them in camera. Don't feel like, oh, you know, I can just edit those things out, whatever it might be. Get your photo that you're like, okay, this is the photo I'm going to use. Get that in camera. So, you know, I have them do a couple reps, and I just tell them to relax as I kind of review what I just did. And then I'll have them do it again, and I'll make minor adjustments. Like I'll switch the angle. So this is a different angle. I'm just to the side more a little bit. And as you can see, that gets, you know, exactly what I was trying to get before. And, you know, this is just me just giving them more direction. There was an issue. It just wasn't bright enough. on his face, I feel, and it was creating like a different type of mood. I still want to have those highlights and shadows, but I don't want it to feel like it's a horror movie. I want it to be a little bit more brighter. So what I do is I just tweak the light just a little bit. I move the light a little bit towards the camera, just a little bit. We're talking like 2-3 inches. And those small increments do affect the photo tremendously because of how the light falls. And that's something that, just takes practice. So you'll see right here, I'm trying to create a mood of him encouraging his client, but his face is too dark. The lighting on his body is great, but I can't see anything on his face. So what do I have to do? I have to make adjustments. So what I do is I tell him like, hey, just flip-flop it. Just flip-flop it, come on the other side. That way the subject is looking towards the light. And same thing, I'll take the photo and I just progress. And again, as you can see, one of the subjects, they move an object that was already in the photo. So now this is creating an inconsistency. But since I'm not getting a ground photo, it's still cool. But he's still dark. He's not bright enough because my guy is blocking the light. And I see that and I'm like, okay, so what do I have to do? Make more adjustments, say, hey, just go in the background. Again, he takes it upon himself to move something out of the frame. I didn't tell him to do that. And I just tell him like, hey, stand behind them. And then I'm able to get the lighting that I want. And that's exactly what I wanted right there. There's 2 people interacting in the gym and a trainer giving his client, encouragement.
Carlton, turn your shoulder towards me. Towards me. There we go. Suck it in. There we go. Come on.
And now that I have the blocking down, the posing down, now I can go in and get the shot. And that lighting looks much better, much better. I'm happy with that.
Grab the medicine ball and just hold on to it.
So now, we're just adding different elements. I have him grab a medicine ball, and it's just, it's just a different photo. Same thing, but just a different photo. Boom, there he goes. It looks natural. And since I got the shot that I want, now we can move forward.
That look natural.
So this is the last setup. As you can see, I'm over here on top of the Smith machine, shooting down on the subject. And I can see in this photo that he's just not bright enough. I'm not getting enough information. So what I do is I ask my friend to move the lighting closer because, the camera settings are perfect. Well, the camera settings are just right. It's just that I'm not getting enough light. He's not lit up enough. So I have him move the lighting closer because as you get closer to the light, the intensity that's towards the light, that's closest to the light, is going to be the more intense, and it's going to decrease as it falls away. So, I have him move it forward. I take another shot and it's getting better, but it's still not where I want it to be. So I'm just progressing through the lighting. I'm not rushing, and I'm getting a little bit more information, but not enough to be like, okay, this is the photo that I want. So I just have him increase the intensity of the light. And then you'll see that, now the light the subject is illuminated in a good way. And I have to talk to him. There we go. Boom. I'm getting more information on his face. I'm getting more information on his arms. I can see the logo of the shirt, and I'm coaching him through this. I'm telling him to give me some emotion, give me something in the face that will give a certain mood and tone, like you're in the gym. So sometimes what I do, like I'll yell, I'll be like, ah,
Big dog status.
and like they'll yell, and that'll create another photo where his mouth is like this, and it is just these little things that you do to create tone and mood in the photo. So I'm reviewing the photos. I'm like, all right, cool. I know exactly what I have to do. So what I do here is that I move the light. It was vertical before, but as you can see now it's horizontal. So now the lighting is spreading further across him, and I'm getting more information like that. And once I get that shot, I'm like, all right, bro, we're good. And, you know, that's just how I rock. And that's, you know, haven't been doing this for too long, but I have been practicing like a lot. I practice a lot. And, you know, I hope that encourage other people to do the same. So there it is, y'all. There's the video. Thanks for sitting through it. I hope you learned a lot. I hope I was able to inspire people to practice more and work on their lighting, because as you can see, it is the lighting that does create the photo. At first, I was like scared of lighting. I actually failed lighting when I was in film school. So this is why I do photography now, to kind of get back and understand how to light an image, because basically what a video is a bunch of moving still images. So that's me practicing to be a better cinematographer and a better director for my film work. That's how I do it. I just do it through photography. So I hope that you enjoyed that video. Get out there, start shooting. Follow me on IG at David Early Photography. That's DAVID EARLEY Photography, and follow my personal IG at Early EARLEY 508. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.